What is up, my beans? Whatever. My voice may sound weird and I look busted up as heck because I literally just woke up. I literally haven't recorded this thing in forever. This episode, or not, I didn't even call it an episode. This video is gonna be a video of me. I was able to go to Peru. Great experience, and it's just gonna be like a kind of like a little vlog. Not really a vlog because I didn't talk, because I don't want to be disrespectful of like recording random people and stuff like that. And also, like, some people get really aggressive and angry. It's not the best place over there. It's better than most other countries, but just with how people would react or stuff like that, I was told not to record in front of everybody. I'm kind of just gonna talk about it and then show y'all clips or like videos and stuff like that, mostly of like the food, and then I can also show you like the town and stuff. I kind of got a little clips that I could without anybody like realizing. A lot of the videos were in the car, just so I wouldn't be like seen, I guess. First of all, this was a crazy experience and I was like blessed to even go. Well, a long time ago, my dad ended up preaching in Canada, and so he took my sister to Canada with him whenever she was in high school. I was in middle school, and then I told him like, oh, I want to go too, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, oh, well, like, you're too young, maybe when you're older and in high school and blah, 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 this and that. It's because my sister, she asked them all for the work ahead of time, and then they were able to give it to her, and she ended up like doing it, whatever. Like, she was very smart. She was really like into school, and she always like turned in her stuff early. So she was very like consistent with all that stuff. But my dad was like, no, like, you're too young. I'll take you on one whenever you're older. That was when I was in like 6th grade. Time passed by. I never went. Well, and I don't blame him. I mean, he literally had cancer and was diagnosed in 8th grade when I was in 8th grade. So like, obviously he couldn't be traveling whenever he was going through chemotherapy and doing all this stuff when he doesn't feel good. Now he's kind of like been able to feel better to where he can go on these trips. So then I always bring it up. I'm always like, yeah, like, you always said you were going to take me on a trip and you never did, and blah, blah, blah. This night you took Sasha, but you never took me. And then he's like, you know what, you want to go to Peru with me? And I was like, what? And he's like, you want to go to Peru with me? Like, last minute. We went during October. He tells me in October, like first week of October, he's like, you want to go to Peru? And I was like, I would have to check, because the time that it was happening was I would go to Peru on the 25th, come back the 31st, and then on the 1st I would leave, because I already planned a trip to go to Universal Studios. So the 1st I would leave and I would come back the 4th. So I'd be missing 2 weeks off of work. So I was like, ooh, I don't know if they would let me do that. So then I talk to my boss. He's like, oh yeah, like, it's fine, whatever, like 2 weeks. It's cool, like, we'll be able to do it. And I was like, okay, perfect. I'm always there, and I've never like called out, and I've never, you know what I mean? I'm always a consistent worker. Like, if I need to work, then I'm gonna work. If they call me and they're just like, hey, we need help, I'm there. You know what I mean? So I guess they kind of like recognize that, and they're just like, you know what? Either that, or they were just like, let's get rid of him for 2 weeks. I don't know. Never know. I was blessed to go on the trip. It was like a 6-hour flight on one end, but we had to fly to Houston first, so that was like an hour. And then so we flew to Houston, and then we flew to Peru, and that trip was like way longer. Besides the fact, I get there and I don't even know what to expect. I never looked up, I don't know what Peru looks like. I'm not very into like geography and all that stuff, so I'm just chilling. I'm just like, okay, whatever. I'm just in there, and I'm not expecting anything. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what anything looks like. I looked up Peru, and then you just see like a whole bunch of mountains and like greenery. And I was like, oh, okay, nice. So that's not where we went. We went where mountains were, but not a lot of greenery. Let's just say that. My dad was going over there to preach, and so he just like was like, oh, you want to tag along? So I was like, okay, bet. So then I went with him, and I didn't know what I was expecting. And then as soon as we were like driving over there, we're at the airport, blah, 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 my dad's telling me all this stuff that I didn't know before. He's like, yeah, there's no drinking water over there. Like the tap water isn't purified like it is in the US. So everything's bottled water. Like, you have to brush your teeth with the bottled water. You have to make sure that you're not eating a lot of the lettuce and like the stuff, because lettuce, like, majority of it is water. And so if they're using bad water, I'm gonna get sick. So if they're not using like purified water, like bottled water, spring water, whatever, it's not even purified, it's spring water. I don't like spring water. I'm picky. I drank it. I mean, obviously I'm gonna drink it. I'm not gonna be picky while I'm over there, but I'm a picky person. I freaking love purified water, and I love when it's ice cold. Over there, obviously stuff isn't going to be ice cold. It's just going to be from the fridge. Like, I love, like, you know, it from the fridge, and then get a glass of ice and pour it in there or whatever. I love like ice water. You're only gonna get ice if you're at like a fancy restaurant, because like they're not gonna want to take their time into making the ice, because they have to make it out of spring water, which is that water, instead of just using the tap water. Every other restaurant uses the tap water. I don't know if you guys knew that, but that's kind of just what happens. They use the tap water for the ice. My mom just called me. Apparently there's Whataburger at the door. Bro, my dad's coming in from flying. I have no idea where. They always tell me, hey, I'm leaving, and then they just leave. But my dad's coming back today, and he's like, hey, order Whataburger, blah, blah, blah. This is like completely unrelated to the subject right now. So I order Whataburger, and they deliver it, and I'm like, okay. So I grab the stuff. I'm like, why is it one bag? Like, I got 2 meals, and then I open the bag. I'm like, why is there one fry? I look, bro. My drinks say Joshua M. That's obviously my name. The bag says Joshua G. That's obviously not my name. This is why I will never curse my child with a basic first name, because this stuff happens, bro. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So then I contact the poor delivery guy. And I'm like, hey, I don't think it's your fault. And I don't, you know what I mean? It's a common mistake. They probably gave it to you. It's like whatever probably gave it to you saying, hey, this is for Joshua. This is for Joshua, here you go. Like, they're not really paying attention. And I mean, it could have been him too, but I mean, I wasn't gonna blame it on the dude. Like, it's a common mistake. One initial is different, you know what I mean? So I'm like, whatever. So I'm trying to get that figured out, 'cause I don't know how to get my food. I don't even know where I was going with this. I don't even know what I was talking about last. That's what I was talking about. I was talking about that's what I was talking about. I was talking about the tap water. They use that in restaurants. They use that for the ice or whatever, but over there they don't. Everything is like room temperature, which kind of sucks. Because I love, like, when drinks are cold. I know it's really bad for your throat, especially when you sing, but I mean, it's whatever. That's my life. I live with that. Crazy experience, we get there. At night. It's like 11 p.m. and then we get dropped off at the hotel. The hotel's there. I'm like, okay, I'm ready for bed, whatever. I literally jump on the bed, bro, and I hurt my back. That bed was rock solid. Yeah, that bed was rock solid. I literally jumped on the bed, and then I landed, and I was like, oh. And my dad's like, what's wrong? And I said, the bed literally feels like a rock. And then I started knocking on it. That's how hard it was. He goes, well, like, a bed is a bed over here. Like, he's like, you can't complain, type of thing. First of all, this is when I first started realizing it, like how blessed we are over there. But this is like, I'm not saying this is like some $1 billion, like, a night hotel. You know what I'm talking about? But it's a pretty nice hotel. Like, from the way that it looks, it's pretty nice compared to the other hotels that are around the area. So whenever I see that, even though it's a nice hotel, they don't got a microwave in their hotel. Like, over here in the US, we have a microwave in our hotel. And I'm not complaining. I'm not saying this to complain. I'm saying, like, these are the observations that I'm getting and I'm understanding. So, I mean, obviously they have a fridge in there.
Obviously, we did not drink the alcohol that just came in the fridge with the hotel.
But then I was like, you know what? I said, I'm here. Nothing to complain about. I'm alive. I'm breathing. Let me get a good night's sleep, even though it was hard for me to sleep because I'm used to my bed, or like at least comfort, not sleeping on a rock. But it's cool. It's cool. We got to the hotel. We arrived not at the hotel at 11. We arrived at the airport, like, at 11. Then we go and we eat food, and then this is what I ate at the airport, by the way.
Chicken.
So we go and we eat food, and I'm like realizing, like, dang, but this stuff is different. My dad's like, don't eat the lettuce. And I was like, okay. The chicken was really good, I'm not gonna lie. Like, the chicken, it was bomb. It tasted like real chicken, I'm not gonna lie. It was like more juicy and stuff like that. But it was weird because it was tripping me out because everything was in like their currency. So like in my mind, it seems like, oh my gosh, this stuff is so expensive. But in reality, like, so what they pay over there is with soles. So 4 soles are $1 in US dollars. So whenever something's, like 40 soles, it's really $10. So in my mind, I'm seeing all this stuff. I'm like, dang, bro, this stuff is expensive. Dang, bro. But then I'm not realizing, like, oh, it's in soles, so it's not in dollars. So it just kept tripping me out because I'm like, dang, I'm wasting so much money. But in reality, I'm not. Everything over there is low-key cheaper except for technology. Like, technology is more expensive just because it's not as, like, common or whatever over there. Like, I'm not talking about just, like, technology that we use, but just, like, like, phones and, like, laptops, PS5, Switches, all that stuff. It's way more expensive over there than it is over here. But a lot of other stuff is cheaper over there than it is over here. Besides the fact, We ate the food. Food was really good. I'm not gonna lie, the chicken was really good. They don't have tortillas. They don't have bread. Like that's not a common thing over there. With tortillas, I get full, or like they fill me up, or like bread. I freaking love bread, bro. I literally came home and I just stuffed my face with bread. I love bread. Bread and butter is my bread and butter. They didn't have any of that over there. It wasn't like stuff that came, you know, like you have chips and salsa or whatever. Obviously not at an American restaurant or something. Sometimes you even do. It's kind of weird, but you have chips and salsa as your like starter, but over there it wasn't like chips and salsa or like bread as your starter. It wasn't any bread, breadsticks, you know what I mean? It wasn't any of that. There was none of that. It was no tortillas, nothing with your chicken, with your meats. It was just meat and like other stuff.
So instead of chips and salsa, this is what they would give you. I thought they were peanuts at first, but they're not peanuts. It's more like corn. It's just hollow, and it tasted like popcorn, just obviously not popcorn. They were super addictive, though, and I gave them a 9 out of 10.
I even asked one of them. Well, I had my dad ask them because I mean everything over there is in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. I understand it just a little bit, so I can kind of get around it and I can understand what they're saying. I can't respond back to them in Spanish. No way. So I just asked my dad. I was like, hey, like, can you ask them if they've ever tried a tortilla? And then he's like, okay, let me ask. So he asked them, and then they're just like, no. The guy had lived there for like 50 years of his life, and he has never tried the savory goodness of a tortilla. Homemade, bro. I'm not talking about no Taco Cabana heated up in the freaking microwave. No, I'm talking about homemade. He's never had this. He's never, and I'm like, dang, bro. Like, there's not really any Mexican restaurants over there, I don't think, or that I saw. But I mean, clearly, if he's never had a tortilla, like they don't have that over there. But I was like, bro, that's crazy. That just like put me in shock. I was like, dang, what was I talking about?
Who are we talking about?
Oh yeah, so we eat at the restaurant and then we get it's called Coca-Cola sin sucar. No sugar. Zero sugar, my bad. Everything in there, even their bottles are in Spanish and they look different. Like they're different sizes than ours. Ours are normally like this size. Theirs are like longer and skinnier. So obviously, America's fat, if you didn't know. We eat a lot of fat food and a lot of unhealthy stuff. So, and especially when it comes to our drink, you know, the water size drinks, the freaking humongous, like, or the Route 60, what is it? Is it Route 64? The Sonic ones, the big ones, the big ones. You know what I'm talking about? Like those drinks are crazy. They don't have that over there. Yeah, they're really thin, and so it seems like it's more healthy, you know, type of thing. They're just different bottles. Everything on the bottle is in Spanish. It was just cool to see it, and I was just like, this is actually crazy. Like I'm in a different place. This doesn't feel real. We leave the airport, and then they take us to the hotel. While they're taking us to the hotel, bro, it's like flat. Like I've never seen it more like flat. Like there's mountains on the corners and then it's just like flat in the middle. You know, it doesn't feel like I'm in a different place, you know, it kind of looks the same. Um and then but while we're passing by, like we're going to the hotel, all of the companies, all the buildings are like barred up, like they have bars all in front of them. There's a lot of trash all over the floor. There's a lot of graffiti. There's a lot of broken down buildings. It reminded me of the Valley, because my parents are from the Valley, from Westago. So whenever we go to Westago, a lot of the stuff over there is barred as well. Like there's a bunch of bars, not like drinking bars. I'm talking about like jail cell bars, like in front of the windows and in front of the doors and stuff like that. Like they have a lot of that in Westago. I kind of like recognized that from over there, and I was like, okay, like this may not be the best area. And then so, but then as soon as we kept driving, it was like in every place that we went to. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. So then there was a lot of trash all on the floor. I was just like kind of, you know, taking it all in and trying to understand like everything and like, you know what I mean? I told you I went there with a clear mindset. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know how anything looked. I didn't know how the culture was. I didn't know anything. I just went there open-minded and just like ready to understand everything. We bought this adapter. It's like an adapter to everywhere you go, whatever, like different plugins or whatever. the circuits over there are different. I don't know how to explain it, but they're more powerful over there than they are over here. Say, for example, so this is an example because this happened. We had a steamer, and so in that steamer, we plugged it in with this, and as soon as I plugged it in, I put water in it. As soon as I plugged it in, it was spewing out water and spewing out smoke and stuff like that. And my dad's like, "What the heck, JJ?" And it was like spraying water all over the floor. And I turned it off. And he's like, "Why did you fill it up too high?" Because there's like a max line on the steamer. And I was like, "I didn't. I literally filled it up to the line." And then he's like, "No, you probably filled it up too much." So then I'm like, "Bro, whatever." So I grab a towel, like clean up all the floor because it was all wet. And then I go and I fill up the steamer like halfway, and then I put it on. And as soon as I turn it on, it's spewing out, the smoke and stuff like that again. So the reason is because this is an adapter. What we needed was a thing, I don't even know what it was called, but it was to make the high voltage lower to where it's okay for our products to be used. The iPhone chargers and all that stuff is okay because they're universal, like they can be used all around the world. So those are okay. But like everything else, stuff that is like made specifically in the US, it's not gonna function the same if it's over there. So yeah, we ruined the steamer and we couldn't steam our clothes after that. And no, I wasn't to blame. I literally used this. I stuck it in here. So, but it burnt out the coils. It like burnt them out. So it just stopped working. It would turn on, but it just wouldn't steam or wouldn't do anything. So I was like, well, I didn't know. He didn't know. He bought the wrong thing. It's whatever. It happened. So we had wrinkled clothes. Oh well, we called downstairs, and then downstairs was like, "Oh yeah, we have an iron." So I tried to use the iron. Since they used dirty water in there, I had dirt all over my clothes. So I was like, "Bruh." So I literally grabbed a water bottle and I poured the water inside the iron, and then I used that. But there was still dirt inside. You know how an iron has the holes? Ew, why does our iron look like that? How how the iron has the holes? Well, there was dirt in the holes, so there was dirt getting in on my shirts. So I was like, whatever. We wake up, we're ready.
I wake up to my dad grabbing on all the food and it's all empty. But then I have my own delicious pineapple juice. I got bacon and ham and also some stick roll.
And then we get taken to change our currency. I think it was $200 turned into like 700 something soles. We go to the mall, we do all this stuff. You know what I mean? I got a sick Spider-Man jacket and I love it. It's a jean jacket and I got it for like 35 bucks. Pretty cool. I got a little Tweety Bird shirt for my niece. Cute. Love her. Their mall is literally like 12 times the size. Not 12 times. That's kind of over exaggerating. It's maybe like 6 times the size of our mall over here in Austin. Just because there's 12 million people that live in that one city. So those 12 million people that live in that one city, that's 1/3 of the Peru population. It's insane how many people are there. Like you go and you're driving and you see so many people. Anytime we were going anywhere that wasn't the greatest area, my dad's like, keep your wallet in the front pocket in case people try to steal it and blah, blah, blah. So I had to keep my wallet in my front pocket. So what's crazy there is how they drive. I've never felt like anytime I was going to get in a car that I was going to die that much until I was in that car. They'll have 3 lanes. Well, majority of the places that are there, they don't even have lines. It's just road and like street and then no lines. So they make their own lanes. And there's like 5 cars driving at once. And then every 2 seconds, they switch lanes. Like people are cutting each other off. There's motorbikes coming, like lane splitting, even though there's no lane sometimes. They're lane splitting and they're cutting people off. Nobody uses their blinkers. Everybody's honking. Bro, I literally felt like I was gonna die every single time I got in that car. Some of the lanes, they'll have 3 lanes and then they won't even like care about them. They'll just make 5 out of them. And then they're always like shifting. People are just shoving themselves in. Nobody lets anybody in. Everybody's like so rude. I've never seen it like that. It's literally scary. Like you talk about Houston and how they don't use a blinker. Nah, bro, this was nothing compared to that. I've never seen it like this my entire life. They'd be so close to you. You could literally lower down the window and like stick your hand out. There's a window and you could literally touch the car. Like that's how close they were. It was literally insane. People literally just park on the side of the street. Like I'm not talking about like, oh, there's like a place to park or anything. They just park on the side of the street. So they're like taking up a lane practically because there's no lanes. So they just park on the side of the street and nobody gets mad at them. Nothing is pretty much illegal here when it comes to driving. No stop signs. Nobody stops at the stop signs. People are just walking like Samaritans. Civilians are just walking past and like walking across the street, jaywalking and all this stuff while the cars are driving. Like even while they're parked, they're just walking, you know what I mean? And they're not waiting for the light. They don't care like for the walk sign, anything. I was like, bro, what is going on? I felt like we were gonna kill somebody. I felt like I was gonna die. Electronics, like I was saying, they're double the price. An iPhone over there is literally like $400 more. I checked a Switch. A Switch is twice the price of it over here. So it's like all the electronics are just way more expensive. I don't know. I guess it's because it's more like it's harder to like get it over there. So it's just like more expensive that way. But I'm still like, that's crazy. So everybody over there usually has either an Android or like an iPhone 7. Like it's not like, I don't think I saw one person with like the brand newest iPhone. I mean, I don't even see people now with the brand newest iPhone that I know of. I mean, the 14 Pro and the 15 Pro literally look the exact same, but whatever. When I realized how blessed we are over here is whenever I found out what a teacher makes over there a month. So in my job, if I work around 40 hours a week, I get paid around $800. That's a week. A teacher over there gets paid in their currency, like transferred, gets paid $900 a month. I was like, bro, what? So you realize how blessed we are over here, like 100%. And I understand that stuff is a little cheaper over there. I'm not talking about like it's dirt cheap and it's like $1 for like, you know, a Big Mac meal. Like, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like it's cheaper, but like slightly cheaper. Like, and so that's when I'm just, whenever I like realize how blessed we are over here and how much we like have it better for certain things. Bro, a teacher, like that's an education. So then I had my dad ask one of them like what's like minimum wage over there, and their minimum wage like transferred, you know, from soles to dollars is like $1.40.
Bruh.
$1.40, bro. Like that's crazy. That's literally crazy. Like that literally just like like shook me to my core, because like my dad would always tell us about things like how it is over there and like how much we're blessed over here whenever we were kids, but you don't really realize it until you actually experience that and you see it, and you're just like, dang, bro, we really are blessed over here, like on what we have and everything. If we were complaining about stupid stuff, bro, when the freaking Wi-Fi is slow, I'm screaming on the game, my game's lagging, my ping is horrible. But like that's what I'm complaining about. When these people are complaining, like actually have something to complain about and are actually struggling, but they are still deciding to like move forward. And that's the thing too, is I give them like mad respect over there, because people are hustling. Over here, you just see like people on the street and they're just begging for money. No, these people over there are buying sodas, they're buying candy, and they're selling it on the street. They're selling on the highway, bro. Like they're selling it when the cars are parked because there's so much traffic. They're walking the in between the lanes and they're like, hey, like sodas, like this and that, blah, blah, blah. Have them in their hand, selling ice cream, selling toys, selling candy, all this stuff. They're hustling. They're trying to make money. And that's, I give them props and I like respect that so much, because like people over here are just asking for it. No, these people are working for it. Like there was 12 million people there. Everybody's like scrounging for money, trying to make a living. And then you got people like living together in a whole bunch of houses and stuff like that. So it's like you realize how blessed we do have it over here. And it's really like changed my mindset on that, just because I've like, you know, we complain about stupid stuff. You don't really realize it until you go out there and you see it. We see all these stupid things, social media, and we're just like, oh wow, like I wish I had this, I wish I had that. You already are blessed with what you have right now. You know what I mean? It's just like you being here in the US has already blessed you like a ton. And people don't really realize that. We complain about everything and anything. People are like, oh, I don't get paid enough for this, blah, 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 this and that. I'm like, bro, people are over here working in the factories like day and night and they're getting paid like 10 cents. Why are you complaining about what you're doing? You know what I mean? And people are so lazy nowadays, it literally pisses me off. Like just go do something, like work. Like we can work, we can, and we can still complain when we work. And I mean, like I get it, you know, we get tired, stuff happens, but it's like these people are hustling, and then some people over here are just begging for money, just wish money just falls into their lap and they're not even like doing anything. And I'm just like, bro, like that just it really like makes my heart go out to them. A man like came up to us with his kid, and I felt so bad. Like his kid was like selling lollipops, and like they do it to like, you know, like make you want to give them money and stuff like that. But his kid looked a little dirty, like he looked a little like dirty, you know what I mean? Like looked like they weren't doing well. And I just like felt bad. So they were like trying to sell lollipops and like all this stuff. So I kind of just gave them whatever was in my pocket, and they're like trying to give it to me, and I was like, no, like it's fine, like you can keep it. Like I was just giving them money because I mean I felt bad, you know what I mean? And then I was like still realizing like we're blessed, and like we have this, like this poor little kid is walking out here and just like asking people for money, and it's probably a hustle move just to make us feel bad. but it's still sad, you know what I mean? Bro, when I talk about how bad the driving was, our driver literally stopped in the middle of the street, like busy street, to look at his phone for directions. I was like, literally the cars are like vroom vroom vroom, and I'm just like, I mean, you know that Mr. Crab meme where he's like, literally how it was, because I was like, why did we just stop in the middle of it? Like, I was freaking out. I didn't know what to do. I was like, why did you just stop to look for directions? He stops, looks for directions. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's where I'm supposed to go. And then he just turns and like shoves his way in there, and cars are honking. I'm like, oh my gosh, bro, I'm gonna die right. We almost got literally squashed in between two buses. Two buses were coming in from the sides going like this. They're both trying to go in the same lane, and they like weren't allowing each other to go in, and we're like right in the middle. So I'm literally just like here anytime. I even look at my dad, bro. My dad's like this, like grabbing onto like this stuff. Like he's freaking out just as much as I am. So I'm just like so scared. So these buses are coming and like merging right here, and we're about to get squished. And then the driver is like not gonna stop. You know what I mean? So he's like still going for. I was really freaking out because they were literally right in between them like a little sandwich, and I was like, bro, I'm gonna die today. So you're like in a dome. So there's mountains all around you, and then the city's just right smack in the middle. So these mountains are high, whatever. So if you're in the city and you look on the mountains, especially at night, you can see all little lights all around the mountains. So these people, since that's like free property type of stuff, like it's not owned by anybody, they just started making houses. They started making houses on the side of the mountains. So they just started building them. So there's a whole bunch of houses there, and then whenever you're driving up there, it gets to a certain point where you have to get in like a smaller vehicle. So their smallest vehicle, we kept seeing them around, driving around and stuff like that. It's like it can literally only fit two people in the back, three if there's like a kid, you know what I mean? But two people in the back and one driver, and it has three wheels. So those are how you get like to the very top and to the higher houses, because just how the mountain works and how the street is. Whenever you're driving over there, bro, I'm talking about like bumpy road. I'm not talking about like boom boom boom. I'm talking about you know what I mean? Because it's not an actual street. It's just like dirt, and they kind of made it to where it can look like a street and to where you can try to drive in it. But those cars are like tiny. Have you ever seen a smart car? Why did I pause acting like you were gonna respond to me? I really thought it was Dora for a second.
Can you say delicioso?
Yeah, it's literally half the size of a smart car. Oh my gosh. And over there too, they literally like, I don't know how it is for y'all, but over here in Austin, people put their own gas. In Houston, people put their own gas. Like, you know what I mean? People go and they put their own gas. So over there, they have people that put their gas in there for you, because it's like a safety reason, I guess. But it's like, that makes so much sense, because people over here, I've worked at a gas station before, bro. People do not use their brain. People do not use their head. No hate towards people, but like people just don't know what's going on. People are over here smoking cigarettes in front of the pump, like lighting their vape up, you know what I mean? Using their phone, stuff like that, like sitting in their car. Just like, it's just mind-boggling, like how people aren't aware. And so over there, it makes sense. And I understand that, because that's way smarter for you to have somebody that actually does that and like pumps the gas. I feel like over here, it's just a money move, and that's going to hire more people, and you're going to waste more money, when in reality, everybody can just do it themselves. So it's just like, hey, I'm going to make more money if everybody does it themselves, and I don't need to hire somebody to pump their gas for them. So like, you can't pull up and it won't, the pump won't work if there's not somebody like there. Like, as soon as you park there, you give them the money, they get their money. You can even give them cash right then and there, and then they'll go and they'll pump the gas for you. The crazy thing is too, is like at night, you can't really see any stars, because like what you're in, like I said, like the mountains are all around you, the city's in the middle. It's like a dome. So it's like a dome of smog just on top of all the pollution and stuff like that, because it can't escape, because it's trying to like leave, but it's just stuck in the middle. Like it can only go up. So it's just like, it just stays up there, and you can't really like see any stars. It just looks like smoggy at night. They don't have like any stop signs, bro. It's just like a suggestion to them, even if there is one. I probably saw like one stop sign the whole entire time I was there. It was insane. Like nobody stops, nobody, I told you, bro, nobody stops, nobody uses their blinker, everybody cuts each other off, everybody's so rude. And I'm just like, bro, like you'll even lower down your window, be like, hey, can I come in? And they just ignore you. They do not care. They see you, they just choose to ignore you. I'm just like, bro, nobody has those little blue tags for their inspection, the one that I freaking have to pay like 75 bucks a year for my inspection. Nobody has those. They're not on the cars. Like that's not a thing. People are literally driving like some of these things I don't even know what to call them, because they're just made up vehicles, like parts put together, and they're driving those on the street and they just don't care. I didn't even tell y'all, literally the first day that we got there, and whenever we're leaving, we asked my dad, because I was like, I had like a feeling like somebody was telling me like, hey, ask him like if you need to take your passport, ask him if you need to take your passport. So then I was like, hey dad, do I need to take my passport like everywhere I go? And he was like, oh yeah, for sure, like make sure you always have it on you, blah blah, blah, this and that. And I wasn't gonna take it originally. It was like literally maybe a minute before we were leaving out of the hotel. So then I grabbed my passport, I put it in my bag, and then we leave. And then literally while we're driving to the mall, we get pulled over by the police. So the police are just there randomly, and they'll just pick cars and then tell them to pull over. Those cars have to pull over, and they check your identification. So they check if you're here, they check if you're here illegally, like they check what's going on, you know what I mean? Making sure that you're here and you're supposed to be here. If you don't have identification, you would literally get arrested and taken into custody. So I literally almost got arrested and taken into custody if I didn't freaking ask that question, which was insane. So I was freaking out. We get pulled over. I didn't record this because, I mean, they're police. Like, I'm not trying to go to jail for vlog footage. Maybe if I was bigger. So if y'all blow me up, I'm just saying. So they pull us over randomly, and then they're just like, oh, do you, is everybody like from here, blah, blah, blah. Like, let's see everybody's identification, this and that. So then everybody's pulling out their identification. My dad's like, do you have your passport? And I was like, yes. So, but I'm like freaking out because I'm like, I don't know what I do. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, what's happening? You know what I mean? Everybody, they're saying it all in Spanish. So I'm like, the crab meme again, Mr. Krabs. But, yeah, so we pull it out and then we hand it to them, and then they're just like, and then they were explaining like, yeah, he's over here preaching for us, blah, 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 this and that. And they're just like, oh, okay, like you guys are good. Like continue. And everything like that. But as soon as like we were just driving, I see the police, and then they just like stop right in front of the car, and then they just like point, like telling us to pull over. I was like, oh my gosh.
Does not. Oh my God.
I was really like freaking out. Overall, experience was amazing. I wouldn't change it at all. Like, it was a very good experience, and I realized how blessed we are over here and how good we have it. And experience was crazy. Experience was amazing, and I am blessed to go over there. I'm glad my dad invited me. Just the environment, the services were crazy. I loved it. There was even a lady who ended up having a miracle, and she was able to walk again when she came in there with like a not a crutch, I guess like a crutch, but like one of those walkers or whatever. And then after she didn't use it, she walked back to her seat, she grabbed it, and she walked back. So it was amazing. God is good. It was an amazing experience. That was just my normal experience, but the church experience was amazing. These people were like so hungry for the Lord, and I loved it. Like it was an experience like I never had seen before, and I'm just glad I was able to be there. I'm glad, like, we may not speak the same language, but we worship the same God at the end of the day, and it was just a good experience that I had, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad I was there. I got to talk to the pastors and like preachers and stuff like that, so I love doing that because, I mean, I get their intel, I listen to them. Sometimes they were talking all in Spanish, so I didn't really get what they were saying, but I got some of it. People over there are so kind, bro. Like, I was literally playing chess with some guy. We didn't even speak the same language, but we love the same game. You know what I mean? It's just, something that's beautiful, and I was really glad that I got to experience that. I'm just here, and I'm blessed, and like one day, when I have the money, I want to go to these places and like bless the churches. You know what I mean? Like, be able to give money to them, because I know like it's hard, like especially for stuff like the microphones and all this stuff, like that's like triple the price. You know what I mean? It's expensive for them. So I would love to like go over there and help them, and like bless them and bless their families. Like, these people are hardworking. Not only like were the preachers and all that stuff, hardworking and kind, like all of the people there were amazing. And you can like you can feel the love and how these people, like, they don't care, they're not ashamed. It doesn't matter what their building looks like, it doesn't matter if it's not completely finished, it doesn't matter what life they're living, it doesn't matter how much money they're making. They're glad to be on this earth and they're making the most of it. And that is something that I feel like we all need to learn. And it was amazing. I loved it and I'm glad I was there. Well, peace out, y'all. I hope you enjoyed this little thing that I was talking about, or my little trip that I went on. I didn't record anything in Universal Studios. I just wanted to. I'm a person that loves, like, I like recording, but in the future, if I get bigger or anything, not if I get bigger, when I get bigger, in the name of Jesus, I would love to have like an own cameraman and like record everything, because I love to be in the moment. I am that type of person. I love to be in the moment. I love to experience everything and see everything, like put it all in my mind. I'm not a picture person, like, and I don't love taking pictures of everything and like recording everything like a tourist. Like, I love to be in there, because that is stuff, like, I think people are on their phones too much, and I think they've recorded too much, to where they're not actually experiencing it right then and there. They're experiencing it through their phone. They're seeing the fireworks, recording it, and they're looking at it on their phone. No, I want to be there. I want to look at them and just like take in that moment. And I'm that type of person. I would love to have a cameraman and like have them record everything and my reaction and everything like that. Like, I'm cool with that, but I would love to just be there and like see everything from right then and there, not on my phone screen. But so plane ride back. So we went over there, whatever. We got to the airport, ate, and then got on the plane. The plane was taking off at like 1. So literally from 1 to 8 is whenever we're going over there, going back. And so I was dead tired, so tired. I was up. I was probably running on like 4 hours of sleep. And that whole entire day. So I passed out on the plane. And then so I put the table tray down on the plane, and I put my head down on my sleep. And I'm sleeping like this. And I wake up like randomly, bro. My neck hurts, my legs hurt, everything hurts. And I turn around, like, cause I was gonna back up. I'm sitting next to random people. So I'm like gonna like back up, and then this lady that's literally next to me, bro, I'm sitting right here, and she's right here. She's literally like, and she's just asleep, bro, on my chair. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'm not gonna tell her, I'm not gonna wake her up. I told my dad, and he's like, you didn't wake her up? And I was like, no, she was asleep. I wasn't gonna interrupt her sleep. So I was like, whatever. So I put my hands back down and I went back to sleep. And then whenever I woke up, she was back on her side. But I was like, bro, imagine waking up and you're just like on somebody else's chair. Like, she was probably so embarrassed, like, oh my gosh, I really hope you didn't see me, blah blah blah, this and that. But like, she was dead tired. She was out of it. But yeah, that was like the experience coming back. But nah, bro, my feet hurt, my neck hurt, my teeth hurt, everything hurt. Like, it was just like, that's such a cramped space, and I don't know how people do that. If I was in first class, maybe, but like, it is so, and for 8 hours, like 3 hours, I'm okay with, but 8 hours, especially when I'm dead tired and I'm sleeping, and I can't normally sleep next to people, but I was so tired. But yeah, that was that. That's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Love y'all, and quick prayer for everybody in Peru, everybody over there. Think they're amazing. Lord Jesus, help them all and bless them with great things. Bless their churches and make everything grow, Lord, and help those in need that are struggling and need something in their life, and that is going to be you. In the name of Jesus, amen. Well, y'all, peace out. Love y'all, and I'm glad you watched the video.